Okay. Okay, so we are going to start out today. If you have, you can see, yeah, you can see my feet. Okay, great. If you have a blanket or something, a towel or something, you might want to grab that if it's near. And then also towards the end of class, I'll give you the option to come into modification for our Shavasana. So you might want to have a pillow or a cushion, a bolster, something like that nearby as well when it comes into the end of class. And so we're going to start today in a child's pose. And I'm going to give you some modifications since I know there's some knee injuries. So you're just going to take your towel and, kind of fold it in half long ways and then fold it in half again. And so you're going to have a length, I don't know, it's maybe 2.5 feet. And then once you've got that edge, you're just going to start to roll until you have, a decent size kind of barrier here. And so what we're going to do is as we're coming into our child's pose, you're going to start up on your knees actually. And then you're going to tuck this rolled up blanket or towel in between your knees, just on the backs of your knees here. So that way, when you eventually come down onto the mat, you'll be resting your head, but you'll have a little bit more space in the back of your knees here. So come to a point where you can adjust and you feel like that space is a good amount, it's not too much, it's not too little. And then allow yourself to relax. You can have a wide-legged child's pose depending on how long your towel is, or you can have your knees together in a more traditional pose. You're just going to rest your forehead down on the mat. Coming at this point into a nice, easy position. Your arms are stretched out in front of you. The elbows are slightly raised up off the mat. So it means you're pressing down into the earth with your hands. A nice straight line throughout the back of your arms. Coming up onto your shoulders. Extending throughout the top of your back. And then breathing here. Just allowing yourself to settle into this space. Maybe you close your eyes as you relax down and forward. Allowing your breath to settle into the body. Welcome yourself to the mat. And then start to take your fingers, your hands over to the right side. Feeling that stretch come along the entire outer edge of your left body. Grounding down into the earth throughout your left hip. Pressing back and lengthening across the entire top part of your body and through your chest. And breathing here. And then on your next inhale, bring your hands back to center. And then start to slowly rock your head side to side. Maybe it feels like it's a little massage on that point between your eyebrows, that third point, that third eye of intuition. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, walk your hands over to the left side. in your child's pose. Coming over, stretching out, grounding down throughout the right hip. Feeling the stretch all along the right side of the body. Breathing here. And then on your next inhale, bring your hands back to center once again. And start to tent. Maybe tiptoe, or tip finger, I guess. Your hands forward. Imagining as if your fingers were just little insects creeping forward. All the while you're breathing and sending the weight down into your hips. Allowing them to fall heavy, feeling that stretch along the side body, along the back body, and breathing here. And then on your next inhale, come up onto all fours. Our flat tabletop back. And inhale your right arm up to the sky. Exhale as you thread it underneath your left side. Allowing that right cheek to fall flat down into the earth. And your left arm can stay bent. You can extend it out in front. Or you can bring it up and wrap it around along your back body. Breathing here, just feeling the stretch within your shoulder joint. And to help yourself ground down, press into the earth with the tops of your feet. And on your next inhale, press down into the earth with your left hand, bringing your right arm back upwards to the sky, and then releasing down in front of you. Take your right arm up and flip that palm upside down so that you can look down and see the bottom, the palm side of your hand, and your fingers are facing your knees. Just rocking back and forth here. Making sure to not put too much pressure. And then flip that palm back around. On your next inhale, bring your left hand up. And then exhale as you thread it through your right side. Once again, grounding down into the earth with the tops of your feet. Feeling the stretch along the left shoulder joint. And feeling what feels right in your body with that right hand. Maybe it's out in front. Maybe it's alongside your body. Or maybe you have it circled around your back. And on your next inhale, bring that top right hand down to the earth, pressing in as you bring that left arm back up and around and placing it down in front. We'll do the same thing on this side. So take that left hand and flip it so that your palm is facing up, your fingers facing towards your knees, and rock back and forth. And then flip your hand over, coming back into that flat back at tabletop position. And we're gonna play around today with what it feels like to independently move our arms and our chest, our spine, as we go through the cat-cows. So fingers are spread nice and wide. We're stacking our wrists, our elbows have a slight bend in them, and then our shoulders here. And I want you to feel what it feels like to just bring your arm bones away from your back body. It's as if you're pressing down into the earth and you just grew a little bit. So it's like this. You can see me on the camera. You're just seeing my arm come forward and then back. And I'm going to do the same thing while I'm on the earth. I'm just pressing up a little bit. You don't need to engage your back. You're just feeling what it feels like to move your arm bones around and through that joint. And it's not that my arms are bending. It's just that I'm lifting a tiny little bit, almost as if you're lifting through your armpits. And now at this point, we're going to imagine what it feels like to drop your chest down. So you're just bringing your chest down a little bit. On the next couple, start to look up as you bring your chest down, and that will automatically start to open your chest throughout these cat and cow poses. Almost as if you would bring your shoulder blades together. If someone had a belt that wrapped around the front of your body, and they were behind you and they were pulling it, it's that motion that your shoulder blades are coming back together. Nice. And from here, come back into a seated position. You're sitting up on your shin bones. And from this point, we're just going to feel what it feels like to allow our arms to come to a natural, neutral position. And then imagine that you're bringing this arm bone forward. So you should be able to see how I'm turning here. Once again, I'm not engaging my back. I'm just bringing that arm bone forward. And then taking it back to neutral. Forward. Let me turn this way, maybe you'll be able to see it better. Forward. Neutral. Back. Neutral. Forward. Neutral. Back. Neutral. Forward, neutral, and back. Nice job. And then at this point, we'll start to, now that we've warmed up the shoulder joint, we'll start to engage throughout the rest of the spine and the back body. So come back down onto all fours in that tabletop position. So just as we had imagined what it felt like to push the earth away from us, and so this means that your shoulder, your arm bone is moving forward. Imagine the arm bone is moving forward. At the same time, you're engaging throughout the top part of your shoulders, the spine, and you're tucking your chin. And then come back to neutral. Once again, at the same time, press away from the earth. Expand the back body as you tuck your chin. And then release, coming back to neutral. Once more like that. Engaging both actions, pressing away from the earth, tucking your chin, and engaging throughout the back body. Releasing. And so in this next pose, it's going to be a combination, just like we were now going to bring our shoulder blades back as we open through the chest and lift up through our chin. So let's bring our shoulder blades back as we look up, opening the chest, and then come down into a neutral. Once again, looking up, lifting throughout the shoulder blades and the chest, and then coming back to neutral. Once more, engaging throughout the back body, shoulder blades together, extending throughout our chest, and coming back to neutral. Nice job. Once again, let's sit back in Virasana, that comfortable pose up on our shins. And just inhale as we bring our hands up to the sky. Exhale as we bring the right one down alongside our body. And tilt to the left. Once again, bringing a stretch throughout that left side of the body. And inhale, both arms up. Exhaling the left arm out to the side, the right arm up and over. Grounding down through the hips to allow the arm to ascend. And inhale, both hands up. Exhale as we bring them down to our side. Folding forward, tucking our chin. Coming into a modified child's pose. Inhale as we walk our arms out in front, starting to lift up, having a nice strong flat back. Exhale as we bring our hands back alongside our body and touch our forehead to the mat. Inhale as we bring our hands up overhead, and exhale as we bring our hands to heart center. If at any point along the practice your knees, your legs are bothering you, you feel uncomfortable, we just went through a modified seated sun salutation. And so that's always there for you. We'll do it once again. We're going to inhale our hands up as we look up. We're going to exhale, allowing our body to hinge at our hips, our hands coming back alongside our feet as our forehead touches the earth. We're going to inhale, bringing our hands out and around to the front and coming into that position where our chest is lifted and then flat back. And then exhale as you bring your hands back alongside your feet, tucking your chin and your forehead to the mat. And then inhaling, rising up with your chin tucked, your arms overhead, looking up. Exhale as we bring our hands back down alongside our body. And so if you'd like to stay in this position, feel free to do that. If you would rather, we can also come into a standing position. So come to the top of your mat in Tadasana. Toes are together. Heels are slightly apart, and it's the same thing. Inhale your hands up overhead. Exhale, hinging at your hips, maybe bending your knees if you're standing, and folding forward. Inhaling, bringing your hands out, allowing for a flat back. Exhaling, bending your knees as you come into your forward fold, dropping your head to the earth. And then inhale as you rise up, arms overhead, looking up. Exhale as you bring your hands to heart center. Nice job. If you continue to build on with me, bring your inhale up as your arms go up. Exhale as you bend your knees, hinging forward, planting your hands. Inhale as you're rising to a halfway lift. And then plant your hands down and step that right foot back. We're going to come here into tented fingers in our low lunge. Just allow yourself to rock back and forth on that back leg, coming up onto your toes and then flexing, holding back, extending throughout the heel. And then bring that foot back up to the center, coming into your forward fold. Lifting for an inhale as a halfway lift. Exhale as you forward fold, planting your hands once again, this time stepping that left foot back. coming into those tented fingers and a low lunge. And then start to rock back and forth on the left leg, stretching out through the back of the body, the back of those strong leg muscles. And then come to a point of stillness, stretching down, feeling the heel slowly making its way to the earth. And then on your next inhale, bring that left foot back up to meet the right once again. Exhale as you fold forward. And inhale as you bring your hands up in reverse swan dive overhead. Exhaling as you bring your hands to heart center. Let's do that once more. Inhale, bringing our hands up as we look up. Exhale, hinging at our hips, bending our knees, folding forward. Inhale as we come halfway up. Exhale, planting our hands down and coming into a plank pose. Both feet back. Nice, strong, stable, engaged abs here. And then just come into your inverted V. Allow yourself to come into your downward facing dog. Pardon. Pressing down into the earth, maybe pedaling one foot out at a time. Feeling that stretch as it works its way throughout the back body. Maybe giving yourself a little shake. And then eventually coming to your point of stillness. Inhaling here together. Exhaling through your mouth. Another like that. Inhale together. Exhale through your mouth. Nice job. And then come into our plank once again. Nice, strong plank. And then drop down onto our knees, our chest and our chin. Inhale as we press down into the earth, coming into our baby cobra. Exhale as we tuck our forehead to the mat and lift once again into our downward facing dog. From here, lift your right leg into the air and open your hip. It's gonna feel as though you could kick yourself in the butt. And then start to press down into the earth, trying to be equal with both hands. Maybe you roll out through that knee that's bent. And then allow yourself to straighten that back leg and come up onto the toes of the left knee. Bring that left toe, sorry. Bring the right knee into your chest. And then planting the foot down in between your front hands. Once again, you're in a low lunge here. And walk your right hand inside your right foot. So that might mean that you heel toe the right foot out to the edge of your mat here. And then allow that back foot, that left foot to open up, coming off the toe as you bring your left arm up to the sky. We have a little twist here, an open twist. Front knee is bent, back leg is straight. You're pushing into the earth on the pinky toe side. And then on your next inhale, look down to the earth. Bring both hands down. Come up onto the back toe of the left foot. And then bring that right foot back. Coming into your downward facing dog. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So take that left foot up into the air, open throughout the hip. So that should be a bent leg. It feels as though you're working to kick yourself in the butt. And then press down in through both hands and that back leg equally. Maybe you take some circles with your left knee. Feeling that stretch. And then allow yourself to face forward, bringing the left knee into your chest, placing it down in between your hands. And then rock onto the pinky toe side of the back foot, walking the left foot out so that the left hand can come in between. and opening up onto the side. Breathing here, feeling that line of energy alongside that nice, strong, straight right leg. Feeling that energy lifting you up throughout the right fingertips. And then on your next inhale, bring both hands down to the earth. Come on to the toe of the back foot and press into your downward facing dog. Feel free to spend a couple breaths here exploring, stretching out throughout the back of your body. Or if that doesn't feel good today for you, you're always welcome to come into that child's pose, like how we started class today. Let's take an inhale here together. Exhale through your mouth. Another one like that. Inhale together. Exhale through your mouth. Nice. And if you're in child's pose, meet us back in our downward facing dog. And we're going to take that right foot up into the air once again. Open throughout the hip. Roll out the ankle this time, pressing down into both palms evenly. And then come back to center, bringing that knee into your nose, and then eventually stepping that foot in between your hands, coming into your low lunge, rising up into your high lunge. Really pressing down in through the toes of that left foot, the heel of the front foot. And then flip that back foot out, allowing yourself to open into your warrior two pose. Nice and strong throughout your shoulders, making sure they're not creeping up into your ears. Allow them to drop down. And then bring that front arm up as we lean back into a reverse warrior. Straightening that front leg as you come into your reverse triangle. Bringing your arms back to your warrior two, and then allowing yourself to go out and eventually down into your trikonasana, your triangle pose. Make sure you keep a micro bend in that front leg. And maybe it feels better to just allow your bottom hand to rest on the shin of that right leg. That's fine too. You really want to feel like you're lengthening upwards. Someone is pulling your hand up to the sky. And then allow yourself to come forward, dropping onto your fingertips, coming back into your low lunge. Pressing down into the earth to send that back foot back. Coming into your downward facing dog. And then moving into your plank pose. Lowering down on your knees, your chest, and your chin. Pressing up into the earth for a baby cobra. Exhaling as you look down, tucking your toes, coming into your downward facing dog once again. And then let's bring that left foot up to the sky, opening the hip, really releasing throughout that hip joint. Maybe doing those ankle circles on this side. And then straightening out, bringing that left knee into your nose, and eventually placing that foot in between your hands at the top of your mat. Rising up into your high lunge. Once again, pressing down. Pardon. Pressing down throughout the heel of that back foot, finding strength that allows you to lift up. And then turn that back heel down to the earth as you open into your warrior two. Nice, strong positioning feel that weight as it goes onto the pinky toe side of your foot. And then bring that left arm up to the earth as you feel the stretch on that left side of your body. Straighten throughout the front left leg as you tip up into your reverse triangle. And then bring your hands back to your warrior two arms, leaning forward, and then eventually down. So like I mentioned to you on the other side, make sure there's that micro bend in that front knee. You don't need to lock it or hyperextend it. And if it doesn't feel comfortable for you to reach the earth, that's not a big deal. Just allow yourself to rest your hand on your shin, because the intent of this pose is really to be uplifting, feeling as though you're rising up to the sky with that top arm. And then eventually turn yourself to the front of your mat, releasing down, pressing into the earth with both hands, sending that left leg back into your downward facing dog. And then coming forward into your plank pose, lowering down on your knees, your chest and your chin. On your inhale, rising up into baby cobra. And then exhale as you tuck your chin and come back into your child's pose. Let's make this one a wide-legged child's pose. So bring your knees to the edge of your mat. Your toes will be touching. Just allow your body to come down onto the earth. And let's take an inhale through our nose together. Inhale. Exhale throughout your mouth. Do one more like that. Inhaling through our mouth. Exhaling. Nice job. And then press yourself back up into your downward facing dog if you were in child's pose. And then slowly walk your feet up to meet your hands at the top of your mat. Grab opposite elbows here, allowing yourself to have a nice space between your feet, a bend in your knees. And then just rock side to side, dropping your head down, feeling that stretch. And then let your arms hang down to the earth. Slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Your head and neck are last to rise. Bringing your shoulders up to your ears. Taking them back, dropping them down. Let's do that once again. Inhale, shoulders up, drop them back. Last time, inhale, shoulders up, drop them back and down. Nice job. And at this point, we're going to come to the long edge of our mat. So turn yourself to face one of the sides and then just take a giant step out with one of your feet. Allowing your arms to come out to the side. Your ankles should almost be underneath your wrists. And then at this point, bring your hands to your hips and just bend yourself forward, dropping your hands down. Really seeing if you can drop your head, releasing. And to help yourself with that, take your hands and walk them behind your feet, almost kind of pulling that weight onto your toes. If at any time you feel like you might fall, stop. But it's a nice little game to play like this. And then bring your hands back along, aligned with your feet, pressing down into the earth for a flat back. Tucking your chin as you release into the earth, holding forward once again. Inhale, coming to your flat back. Hands on hips. And then inhale as you rise up. Let's heel toe our feet together. We're gonna work on some balancing poses at this point. So if at any time these poses are intimidating or not your cup of tea today, it's totally fine. I will have you instead do even more challenging of a pose in my opinion, but sometimes it feels safer to people. And it's simply placing one foot directly in front of the other. Hands can be on hips, hands can be out alongside your body. Maybe you bring your hands into center. Maybe you play with your eyes open or closed. So that's an option for you at any point if this pose feels too hard for you. So we're gonna come into eagle pose to begin with. So what that means, your toes are together and your heels are apart. And you're gonna sit down into your chair pose. Down into your chair pose. And then you're gonna press down into the earth with your left foot. You're gonna come up onto the toes of your right foot. And you're gonna cross that right leg over your left. So this is the first part of our eagle wrap. And then you're gonna bring your arms out to the side. You're gonna take your left arm underneath your right, twisting it around. Maybe you'll be able to hook your fingers together. Maybe you'll be able to do a double wrap on both your arms and your legs. And then find that point of focus. Sitting down into the chair pose actually helps with your balance here. And then release your arms, release your legs, bring your hands up overhead, lower them down, and shake out your leg. So once again, if that was too much, feel free to bring one foot in front of the other for the other side. But if you're coming along for the eagle pose on the other side, sit back into your chair, press down into the earth with your right foot, come onto the toes of your left, and then cross that left leg over right. Arms out to the side, locate your right arm, bring it underneath your left. Right arm under left, and sit down into the pose. Imagine as if you can look up, your chest is shining forward. You want to try not to be looking down. You want to be able to extend up and out. Nice adjustments. And then release, unwind our arms, unwind our legs, shake out those legs. Nice job. We're gonna make our way down onto our bellies. So come to the top of your mat and then slowly lower yourself down. I think I need to adjust the camera here so you can see down a little bit better. Let me do that. I don't know if that did anything, but we'll see. Okay. So we're gonna play with some back bends on the earth here. So the first one that we're gonna do is the the baby cobra. We're working our way to locust. The baby cobra, you're gonna place your hands about nipple line. Your elbows are tucked strongly into your back. So that's that opening of the front of your chest. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together. And you're pressing your toenail side of your feet down into the earth. And then on your inhale, you're lifting up. You're still facing down, looking at the earth. So there's a long line throughout the back of your neck. And then exhale as you release down. Maybe you allow your arms to fall alongside the body, turning onto one cheek and rocking back and forth on your hips. We'll do that another time. So bring your hands back to that comfortable place about nipple line, tucking your elbows into your body, pressing down into the earth with the toenail part of your foot as you lift up on the inhale. And then exhale, lower down, release your arms, turn your cheek to the other side, and then rock back and forth with your hips. This next time around, we're gonna build a little bit. So I want you to have your arms alongside your body, and let's place our palms down into the earth. And we're going to slowly lift with our feet, engaging our core and our quadriceps, and then start to rise up with the top of your body as well. So the majority of your weight is down in with your pelvis. You have a nice long spine, lifting and releasing down, turning one cheek to the earth. Once again, rocking back and forth on your hips. One more like that. So bring your forehead down to the mat. Extend throughout your toes as they start to rise. And then on your inhale, bring that top body up as you reach your fingertips towards your feet. Lowering back down once again. Turning to the opposite side, shaking your hips. And then we're gonna roll onto our side. So stack your hips, your knees, into that comfortable park position. Your head is resting on your hand, just hanging out. And then from here, you're just gonna tuck that top leg, allowing it to come back, grabbing onto either the foot or the ankle, and just stretching out throughout that front hamstring. Sorry, the quadricep. And then releasing that leg, bringing the knee into the chest. And then straightening that leg out, pointing the toe down to the earth. You should be able to feel that stretch coming on along through your IT band, your hip flexor. And then just flip onto the other side. Same thing on this side. So stacking your hips, your knees, resting your head on your hand. And then bending that top leg as it comes back, feeling the stretch throughout the front of the leg. And then releasing that, bringing the knee into the chest, releasing in the lower back. And then extending that leg out straight, pointing the toe down into the earth. Starting to feel that stretch along the outside of the hip, maybe the inside of the lower leg as well. And then bring that knee back on top of the other leg, pressing down into the earth with your left hand, coming up to a seated position. Let me turn this way for you. We're going to come into a cobbler's pose. So that means that the bottoms of your feet are kind of kissing in front of you, imagining if they were the binds of a book that you could open up. And then, depending on the flexibility that you have in your knees and your hip joints, you might have to move your feet out in front of you a little bit. Whatever feels comfortable for you here. And then from here, you're just going to start to lean forward, leading with your chest first. And then releasing, coming back up. At this point, imagine if you could press down into your inner thighs with your elbows. You see what I'm doing here. Holding on to your feet, pressing down in with your arms as you bring your chest forward. There's not a ton of movement here. I'm just trying to make that obvious to you. But you should be able to feel a little bit of the stretch on the inner thighs. And then release, allowing yourself to come back up. Maybe clapping a little bit, not a lot. You don't need to strain those inner thigh muscles. And then last time, on your inhale, sit up straight, and exhale as you lean forward, shining your heart out. Your chin comes forward, and then you press out and down. Take an inhale here, and an exhale, go a little bit further. And on your next inhale, release yourself, coming back up. Put your feet out in front of you, give them a little bounce. And then bring that right foot in alongside your body. Place the sole of your foot onto the inner upper left thigh. And inhale as you bring your hands up overhead, and then turn your body so that you're facing full on that left foot out in front of you. And then lean down. Bending your knee if you have tight hamstrings. And then eventually lowering down. Maybe someday your forehead will meet your knee. One more breath here. And on your next inhale, rise back up. Exhale, lower your arms down to the side and switch those legs. So left foot comes in, presses up against the inner upper right thigh. And then inhale your arms up, and then slightly turn your hips so that you're facing out and lower down over that right leg, making sure to have that bend in your knee if you have tight hamstrings. And then eventually dropping down, allowing the forehead to fall. Taking your breaths here. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Your next inhale, release, rising up. And then exhale, lowering your hands down. Bringing both feet out in front of you, giving them a little bounce. And then lower down onto your back. Bringing your knees into your chest. Rocking back and forth. Maybe making circles with your knees on the ceiling. And then bring both knees in, and then take them over to the right as you open alongside the left part of your body. Start to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And just letting your breath fall into its natural pattern as we're finishing throughout the class today. And then on your next inhale, help your knees come back to center. And then exhale as you take them over to the left, opening throughout the right side of the body. Breathing here. And then on your next inhale, bring your left hand out to the left knee. Help yourself bring those knees back into your chest. And we'll move into Shavasana, our final resting pose. So like I mentioned to you in the beginning, there's options. You can come to the traditional Shavasana, laying on the mat, your feet splayed out, your arms open, palms up. Or if it feels good in your body today, find that cushion that we had. Lay it long ways on the mat, and then scoot your butt up against it. Slowly lowering the back body on in the slight elevation here. And then allowing your hands to fall out and open, your feet to do the same. And let's inhale together through our nose. Inhale. Exhale through your mouth. Do that once again. Nice strong inhale through our nose. Out through our mouth. Rest here. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to deepen your inhale and your exhale. And then roll yourself over onto your right side. Taking a couple breaths here. When it feels right for you, press down into the earth with your top left hand, slowly rising up, allowing your head and neck to be the last to rise. And if it feels comfortable for you, close your eyes, bringing your hands to heart center, bowing your chin just a little. Thanking yourself for coming to the mat this afternoon. And if you would like, join me on the inhale for Om. Let's inhale together. And bring your prayer hands to your third eye, that spot of intuition, space between your eyes. Give yourself a little massage here, bowing down to the earth to seal our practice time together. Thanking yourself for joining, and then rising up. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.